Cavecast, the uncensored show for nerds of all kinds.
So, okay, there's been some things on YouTube that I think that we definitely need to talk about, and just some things that are quite unsettling, and actually even some of the stuff that we're going to talk about specifically. One of them was brought up on one of the lives that we were on recently when people were like, hey, did you see this? And, so I think that we should start this fresh by saying, guys, like, we love reacting. It's how we have connected with everybody that, like whether or not it's the friends that we've had or the people that we've grown close to or whatever, like a lot of amazing things have truly come out of us being on YouTube. And it's something that, while I know that right now with where I'm at, and it's just to be very, very blunt, is that I've kind of had this anxiety of just seeing how things have been performing. You and I have talked about it, every day or every chance that, we talk about it or whatever. And because we're looking at the analytics and we're seeing that YouTube is just not treating reactors well right now. And especially people that are well established and have, triple the following that we do are pulling in numbers that are
similar to ours.
They're similar to ours. And it's the fact that it's like, we know what a normal video behaves like for them. And it's just been kind of one of those, like, I guess you could say reality checks. And I think you said that you kind of had like a come to Jesus moment the other day too, with like with things and like just, looking at it. So, yeah. So what's your take on what's going on right now?
I'm not really sure, because I don't want to believe that this is really happening. And I know that we have maybe talked online before, but I know that we had discussed when we talked to Brent TV, he said stuff about, his algorithm dipping, certain times of the year. Like, everybody kind of has their down season, which is understandable. And I didn't just think it was going to be balls to the wall up the mountain the whole time. Like I get that. So I'm really trying to take this time in the fact of, maybe this is just the slow season for reactors or for us, like, because think about it. We did kind of start in the wintertime when we started taking off on the other channel. Yeah. And all we saw was the progression. So we never had this like, I guess, not downtime, but this like kind of, like stagnant, I guess you could say.
Right.
And now it's the fact that we are kind of at this crossroads of like, man, our videos aren't, doing well. Even like big hitters aren't doing what they used to. Revenue has luckily stayed pretty much the same for us. But that's the thing, is that it hasn't gone up. And then we have put out way more videos. Right. And not saying, guys, we're not saying we make all this money, but the fact of we've put out more videos into our library that should give you some kind of an upward, value here. And it's not. The good thing is we're staying where we are.
Yes.
And that's great.
And subscribers are continuing to grow. People are still interacting. They're like, it's still there. Right. It's just not the norm.
It's not the norm. And so I had this kind of moment where it's like, okay, well, what if it's both? Or what if it is just this? And then, we watched the Mr. LBOYD thing, and it's just like, I had this moment of, God, do I got to jump platforms here? Do I got to start doing way more on TikTok and Instagram? Like, what am I going to do here? Because, this is my income at the moment. Yeah. Not to say that if something happens, I won't go get a job. It's just like, this is what I do right now. And it is scary. I understand that YouTube has its faults, but man, this seems like a very direct thing that's happening.
Yeah. And I think that what bothers me the most, and mainly Mr. LBOYD, is what we want to talk about, kind of before we get into the actual questions, because we do have questions from Discord. We have it from YouTube community. So it's kind of, I think there's like 4 or 5 that we were able to pick, because some of them we had answered before and different things. But before we get into that, Mr. LBOYD, which I'll make sure that the video is in the description below, and if or even if I put it in the card up in the video as well too. This is a video that I think that you guys need to watch.
100%.
Because there are tons of things that go into being a reactor that not everybody knows about. And it's, there's people in my life that, that have a very different perspective of what we do. They only see the content, they're not around us 24/7 or like that we don't talk to all the time, that all they see is that, videos come out every day and things like that. Like, The one thing that I am definitely proud of that we do is that we have a very clean, well-oiled machine with everything that we do. We have learned from our mistakes.
100%.
We have made everything engaging, from the way that we open the show, the way that we, interact during everything, making sure that we're pausing and that we are commentating and talking about that. And some people have problems with that, and it's like, okay, well, it's okay to be wrong, but in the same hand, it's because it's like, well, just sit there and just let the song
that's
play.
boring as fuck,
It's
man.
like, I'm sorry, those aren't the reactors that I like to watch.
Me either.
So, and again, if that's your cup of tea, fantastic.
Exactly.
I think that there is something to be said about, just sitting and vibing with somebody and maybe seeing their,
Sure.
their faces and stuff. But I know that what I look for is I look for the D Gibbies. I look for Tulip Mafia.
Yes.
I look for Laid Back. I do look for No Life Shack. I look for, these people that like, they can't help but pause and freak out, like
Right.
especially when No Life Shack will just get up and walk into the back of his room.
Oh, you know it's a good bar.
Yeah, or D Gibby will put on his banger shades. So
yeah.
it's stuff like that everybody has found their own niche, and they have found stuff that has really just allowed themselves to just express themselves in a very beautiful and wonderful way. Now, when it comes to Mr. LBOYD, what I will say is this, is that I didn't really know much about him until kind of like, I would say recently is a loose term, but I definitely knew like Too Lit before I knew who Mr. LBOYD was.
Agreed. I get what you mean. Yes.
And I love the way that he reacts to things, because he is a more reserved individual. He is a very intellectual person, and he brings a perspective on things that is it's very refreshing to me. And seeing the fact that it's like he has, I believe that it's almost 800,000 subscribers. He has done very well. He has thousands of videos.
He was so close to that other play button.
And the long and short of it, and again, you guys, you can reference the video below and watch it. I would even suggest that you leave this video and you go watch his video and
then come back.
And come back, and that way you can get the full story. But essentially, they removed his YouTube partnership, which, if you guys don't know what that is literally what allows you to have your AdSense account. That's what allows you to run ads. That's what allows you to be able to essentially
Get paid. That's how you make money.
make a paycheck for what you're doing online. And the reason that it was removed was because they said that he was uploading reused content. Now, the definition of that is posting content on your channel that is not yours and letting it play. That is not what he has done whatsoever. But yet, his ability to make money was removed because someone or something, whether it was the AI or whatever, or the algorithm or whatever, decided that he was no longer able to have this. Now, I know that he can put an appeal in, I think, in 30 days or 90 days, I think 90. It is. But this is the part that is really scary for us, is that, guys, to be very real, is that there's a possibility that YouTube could just decide that, no, you're done. And there's not going to be any good reason for it. It's frustrating, especially because I know that we don't know these people personally. We have made some very good friends, through the reaction community, and
oh, for sure.
It's especially for instance, the main person that we've interacted with and that has been on the podcast, a decent amount in the videos that we've made with him, Ron from Thunder Rooster, yes, where it's just guys, we have very good friends that are in this battle with us, and to know that there's a possibility that any of us, for any reason, could have that removed is scary.
Look at the Sketchpad podcast.
Yes, that was the other one. Yeah.
They have not even 11,000 subscribers and they just got dicked.
Yeah. So you said that you watched the whole video. So kind of take us through kind of what was going on there. Cause I think I do know the crux of it, but you got more of a full taste of it.
So basically what it was is that I don't know the reasoning, if it was the same concept of Mr. LBOYD, but basically what it was is that they kept getting these messages about their Google partnership being not the information was wrong. And so they kept getting this email or this thing about the pin for your AdSense. You need the pin. And they're like, well, send it. And they're like, well, we already did. And then they said that they found out, well, no, they didn't. And then they said that they didn't, but that was still the problem, that you still needed the pin. And then they'd go on because, guys, there is no 1-800 number. There is no email. There is like, this should all be fucking illegal. But what they said is that there's like an automated system that you can talk to. And if you don't type in the right thing, or if you mess up a spelling, it then freaks out and doesn't know what you're doing and then just loops you around basically.
Yeah.
And then they were told to hit some link that took them to a link that took them to another link to do another link that took them right back to the original link.
It's just, dude, it's
so
yeah.
They only have not even 11,000 subscribers and they're getting fucked. All of their donations that they got on their lives and all this stuff, gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Especially too, they said what was it? It was their reaction to Richmond, north of Richmond, was that like they got like 100,000 views that were not accounted for. And by the way, that's a video that even for us, I know that it was something that was completely clear of copyright claims, so it's completely monetizable. Correct. And it's like what the fuck?
They said that it was their biggest one. They had like 300,000 views, and then the one day it was down to like 219. And they're like, well, where did that, like, how the hell did that happen? And so there was that, but the fact of the guy deleted the AdSense to remake a new one. And that's when they were like, nope, basically it's gone. And then even at that, they went to go make the new one. They said, your old one's still active. We can't give you this one, essentially. I'm like, how the fuck, like how there's no way. There's no way that somebody's just that the algorithm or the AI or whatever you want to call it's messing up this bad. If it is, then why isn't it the fuck out of here?
Yeah. And it's
because my thing is that they're doing it to anybody. And I don't mean in this in a slight. So if the sketchpad, if you say I don't mean, but they don't have near what we have, near what Mr. LBOYD have, and they're fucking these guys.
Right. And
because they make money.
It's not fair. And this is the part that I think that it's really infuriating, especially when you see how much people get dicked around on this, but yet Onision is still allowed to be on YouTube.
Right.
And it's because that is the thing that has perplexed me, because I followed Mr. Repzion for years, with him, from the very first time that he did a response video to the Shiloh thing when she had her seizure. And he filmed it and everything. And like, that's stuff. So it's like, I think that video has been removed, but it's been re-uploaded by other people.
Why is he still allowed on?
Right.
And that's the thing is, it's like, they're picking and choosing people. And I read some comments on the Sketchpad one where they said they're targeting people that listen to Tom McDonald and somebody else.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying, like, luckily, guys, I haven't noticed anything. I haven't seen any emails, but do you remember the other day when we both went, oh, the search, blah, 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 it's got this amount of many views. We both were off by like 100, guys, I know 100,000 seems like, but yeah, like we were off by like 100,000. I'm like, no, it's like close to this. And we looked, it wasn't even close to either one of the number we said.
No.
And that I was like, that's weird. I know I saw a 7 in there.
Yeah.
And now it's down to like 4 or whatever it is. Like,
I think it's at 5. I think
5 or something like that. But I'm like, oh, maybe I'm tripping. But then I kept thinking, I'm like, no, me and Kyle were both like almost in the same area. And now it's not even close. How do we both fuck it up that bad? How do you read a number that bad? And so it just made me wonder. But again, knock on wood, it's nothing like that. But I'm like, well, maybe they did dick us out of 100,000 views.
Yeah, I mean, it's at this point, it's so hard to know what is the right thing to do anyway, because this is the thing that we have been struggling with, is that like even just like trying to do like, like just rap songs or trying to do, these different things. Like, it's the part of me that does make me wonder if like doing stuff like doing country just to see what happens with the algorithm, or trying other stuff that I know, but so we're going to get into that later, but cause it's one of the questions as far as music we do like or don't like. But no, it's just, I don't know. Like, I'm in a very peculiar place with YouTube right now, where it's like, like doing the podcast is kind of like the one time that we kind of just get to sit back and relax. And, even then, like, there's been times that the channel has had videos that have been uploaded that I know for a fact that even in episode form, not so much in shorts because I've not bleeped them or there's like things that haven't been taken care of. But I'm very careful about what I put in titles, and I'm very careful about what I put in thumbnails, because I know for a fact that ads can become limited, or that, there could be, different things being flagged. We have been consistently getting limited ads. Now, I've appealed them, and for the most part, the majority of them are, but there's still that part of me that's like, why? Like, what's the deal here? And
right.
And it's just, I don't know, like there's...
It's not like you're saying beer chug topless chicks at a strip club as the, title. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get that.
Yeah, even like when I did the whole farts thing, where it was like I made sure the A was an at sign. Right. It's just, it's doing things like that. And like doing YouTube is something that like I think we talked about it a little bit before, but like I hate feeling like I have to give people a list of rules for them to finally just be able to be able to do something, because I know that was us at one point.
Yeah.
Trying to start and trying to figure stuff out. Now, to be fair, I've been on YouTube long enough that I've been able to not necessarily be a good content creator on it, but being able to see other people deal with different things. Like, the entirety of the adpocalypse, and when Kappa happened, and like all these very, interesting things where you're like, okay, so this is now the new problem. And it's, like different lawyers talking about it and being like, this is what this implies. And even the stuff that I do for work, for my real job, and like the stuff that we've had to make sure that we apply, to like the thing that it's now automated and we've put it on the channel. But like, I think it was the Kappa thing where it's like, this content's not made for children, so it's just, there is always something that's happening. And especially in the reaction community, because it is so close to our hearts. And again, we have people in our lives that are either achieving something in this or are building to it, or they're somewhere in the middle. And I don't know, like I get very protective of those people, and I'm very protective of what we do as well too, because it's like we're already fighting an uphill battle on what to post. And for it to be the possibility of one day for them to be like, no, you're done. It's like, okay, like, and it wouldn't bother me so much if it wasn't for the fact that the other thing that Mr. LBOYD said was that he is not allowed to make any new channels. He cannot make a new channel to upload anything to now. He is literally stuck with what he has. And it could because that's all connected to your Google, and it's all connected to your Gmail, and it's all connected to these things. Like, that's the part that really bothers me, because it's like, all right, take away YouTube partnership on this channel. No problem. I've got this over here. We're good. Or I can make something new. That's not even the possibility in his case. And
how is Logan Paul allowed to be on? He's the reason motherfuckers don't get paid anymore like they used to.
Yeah, well, I would say that it's come back in a decent way, but no, because
nothing what it used to be like, man. No. We were never a part of that, but I know goddamn well it wasn't like this.
Right. Now, I will say this is that I've kind of warmed up to Logan. I will never warm up to Jake Paul, but like warming up, like,
no, they're both fuck ups.
Well, right, but in the same hand is that with Logan, it's like, look, like I don't understand why that was even posted to begin with, and I'm not even going to say what the context is.
Right, that's why I didn't even say it.
Right, because YouTube will flag us, but it's just, I don't know, like,
but he can be on his podcast. No, how the fuck? See, that's where this was gonna get me fucking fired up and pissed off, because it's like, you mean Mr. LBOYD is not allowed to make any other fucking channel? This dude over here from our home state, which I don't even like to say, filmed that bullshit, made up Adpocalypse happen, and he's one of the biggest YouTubers on the fucking platform?
Yeah.
Get fucked.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck you, YouTube.
Yeah. This is honestly, and this is the part too, is that this is when people will be like, we'll just go somewhere else. And this is the other thing that Mr. LBOYD was talking about, was that he's like, I'm sorry, nothing compares to AdSense. Like, this is the one thing about that I will say about it, is that when it does well, it does very well. It does work very well with what it does. And it's just the fact that it's like, I mean, there's just nothing else that compares to it. And that's the point that I've had to imagine for myself, just like Mr. Repsion, was that when Adpocalypse happened, he went from living off of Patreon and went off of like, from this moment of like, okay, well, these videos aren't going to make money anymore. I can't sink my time into this 40 hours a week because I can't pay my bills. Right. Because people have this mentality where it's like, oh, you're just money hungry. And it's like, well, no, man. Like if you were putting in, like, and there's even times that the stuff that we do can be more than 40 hours a week, depending on what's going on and what we're doing.
We don't stop.
No, and
that's the thing, is we literally do not stop. Just because What was that thing you said to me before where it was like, God sitting on a beach with sunglasses on and somebody said, "What are you doing?" And he said, if you knew
shack,
how, yeah. If you knew how incredibly busy I was, like you wouldn't be saying that. Mm-hmm. It's the fact of, no, man, not trying to be funny, guys. When we're in the kitchen drinking a beer, when I am smoking by myself and listening to headphones, my brain doesn't stop for social media.
No.
It doesn't. Neither does yours. Mm-hmm. It is just because we are at the mall, driving to our girlfriend's house, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It's a constant thing. When I was at work, I was still doing it. It's all fucking day from the moment your eyes open.
Yeah, it truly is a lifestyle. And that's the part that I think that is, it's scary because it's like, the fact that it's like you've been geared, towards this thing, or you've been working so hard towards this thing. And like, that's just, I don't know, to me, I know that I want to keep making content. I've got goals of things that I would love to achieve. There's people that I would love to be able to speak to on this podcast and would love to be able to do. There's long-term goals of stuff that I know that would be a lot of fun to be able to do. And it's because you guys do want to watch it, because at the end of the day, it's exactly what we say on Riker Road, which is that there is no Riker Road without you. None of this happens because of you guys, or none of this happens without you guys. And it's just, I don't know. It's the fact that it's like we do have, an overwhelming, just amazing audience that does love what we do. But at the end of the day, it's one of those that it's like, if those, liberties and those privileges are taken away from us of being able to do that, that will drastically change our lives.
Yeah.
And it's so, I don't know, to me, I think that there's still a lot of promise and there's still a lot of things that I do want to do, but I've really had to fight this, defeatist mentality that I've had for so long. And the people that are close to me know about it. And the people that, that I've talked to in passing, like even somebody at work today asked me how YouTube was going. And I'm like, it works when it wants to. That's literally where we're at. And I'll be very curious to see what happens with this episode and being posted and if there's any flack. But in the same hand is that it's the only place that we can post stuff like this besides Spotify and besides, or Spotify for podcasters, which distributes it to all the podcasts and stuff that we're on. Because I would love to be able to say that there would be a time that, we don't have to rely on YouTube to be able to have our audience, where it's like, no, we've grown to the point to where, God forbid, should something happen, people can follow us over here and we can still do what we love. It's just, I don't know, I'm very frustrated, and I'm also just I'm very protective of the community that we do have. And it makes me wonder where it's like, is Alex Hefner going to have an issue? Are these other people that, have just done nothing but just open themselves up to us,
because that's huge. The thing is they make them money. They make them way too much money. And that's where I feel like that's what I'm saying. They're picking and choosing. They are 100%. You can't tell me with the bullshit AI and things that you have set up and the people working for you flagging my videos every fucking day and everybody else's and blah, 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 that you can't get this correct. Mm-hmm. All of these bugs or whatever it might be. No, the fuck it's not.
Yeah.
Elon Musk, we need you right now.
Buy YouTube.
I'm fucking serious. That is not a joke. Some other Mark Zuckerberg motherfucker, you need to start coding or whatever the fuck it is you do to make these things.
Yeah.
Right fucking now.
Yeah.
Because this is too much. And don't give me Rumble. I heard Rumble's kind of bullshit too, but yeah,
I've heard every good thing I've heard about Rumble and every bad thing I've heard about Rumble. And it's just, I'm sorry, that's the thing where I don't feel comfortable with the time and effort of what we already do, because everything that we do with YouTube is down to so much of a science of we have it down. There is a reason why there are 7 videos a week that come out on Riker Road. We have been able to keep that up. We've found the way to be able to make it happen. And it's just the idea of adding another uploading process, which doesn't sound like it's that big of a deal. But when you tack that on top of everything else, that's because, again, I don't even know what uploading is even like on Rumble, or if it's simple or anything like that. But that's the stuff that ideas can look good on paper.
Right.
But in the same hand, the practicality of doing it. So I don't know. To me, it's one of those where I wanted to be able to talk about this and be very real with you guys and be as raw as we possibly can, because this is a problem just like how there's been many things that have happened in YouTube in the past where it's like look, like this needs taken care of. And at least if it's not taken care of, acknowledge it. It's at least because even the fact that there's big YouTubers that do have contacts at YouTube. And I'm pretty sure that, like they probably have moments that things are communicated. But from what I've been able to take in from it is that what they mainly get as an answer is we are aware and we're working on it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the info that they get,
Here's my thing is that let's take every single thing that has been said negatively about YouTube with the no phone number, no email, no CEO you can contact, this bullshit AI that you talk to, and then even this real quote response that's yes, we get it and we're working on it. Put that on any, and I mean any other name, brand, anything like that for sales, whatever have you, World Wide Web, it would be taken down and done in a fucking day.
Yep. Yeah.
In a day.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if it's just the Joe Schmo trying to start. Nope. You don't have this for your business. It's over.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to come to you.
No. And it's, I think that the sad part is that the fact that YouTube just became this entity and it just became this thing that I think that the main thing that probably is at the root of it. And again, I don't work there, so I don't know exactly what's going on, but for the most part, I feel like they're just constantly shitting their pants and figuring out how to fix everything. Or the fact that it's like they have to cover their ass doing this, or they have to it's just, and it's really sad because the good part of YouTube is that there are a lot of good things about it, like the creator tools and the things that you're able to do and how you can organize everything and build your playlists and design your channel. Like there are some very good things, and I will always give credit where credit is due. But
isn't that kind of just something that not anybody, but anybody that knows how to code and do these things and build a website can do? I'm talking about the actual business side of it, not the functionality of how you can click and find things and do stuff.
Yeah, no, it's very rare that there's it's rare that there's anything that is comforting about uploading, and that's in we've done a whole clip in section of the podcast talking about copyrights and claims and all that stuff of the battle that we're still going through, and we have made some changes recently where it was look, dude, suck it up. There's going to be a logo. There's going to be this or whatever.
Sure.
It just, I'm done fighting it, especially because of the fact bands like Bring Me the Horizon or 21 Pilots, where it's we get blocked and flagged so much because of those. Mm-hmm. And it sucks because I know it's not the band. Right. It's because I think we even said that for our dark side reaction where it's no, dude, we are not blaming our boys. Not that we know them, but it's right. We're not blaming the dudes that are in this band. We're not blaming any of that. But it's it's just, if it's not the label, it's YouTube. And if it's not the YouTube, it's the label, or it's somebody else that's uploaded this content that's now, trying to be a third party person to put a claim on your video to make sure they can make money, which how do they even do that with the algorithm? So it's it's mind boggling. I don't know what the true answer is or what will fix it, but we are fighting the good fight. We're still trying to get through. We're still trying to do what we're doing. And I mean, again, it's just, it's awesome when it does work properly. And I love what we do. It's just right now, this has been a very frustrating time. And I want things to be able to work. I want us to be able to, not have a pit in our stomach whenever we upload and wonder what's going to happen, because again, that is a part of the game where it's wondering if, something's going to hit. But I don't know. It's just, that's just where I'm at right now. That's just, it's the tough thing that we're having to deal with, and, the one thing that I know for a fact that we're going to do is that we're going to be nothing but honest with you guys. We're going to let you know exactly where we are at, what's happening. And, there are times I want to be able to sit down and talk about pop culture things or talk about, fun stuff. But this is almost kind of one of those, we need to have a family meeting, and just everybody needs to sit down. We need to talk about something and just let you guys know where we're at. So, but nevertheless, let's get out of YouTube mode. Let's connect with our audience. Let's do our thing. And we've got some questions.
Real quick. Yeah. Fuck you, YouTube. All right. Now we can go on.
We're good. All right, cool. So, but with questions.
Yes.
We took some on Discord. We took some on community. So these are just, we have 5 questions, and I think that we can have a lot of fun with these. So first off, Mandy, she asks, is there a genre of music that you guys dislike?
Country.
Same. If so, explain why, and if you two would be willing to listen to see if that dislike can be possibly changed.
No.
See, now here's the thing. I do not like certain types of country. Now, what's interesting is that I grew up listening to Tim McGraw and like, Toby Keith and like, even Rascal Flatts, like I got into a little bit, but the older that I've gotten, it does nothing for me. And I want to be able to discover new music because with what we've done on the Reaction channel, we've eaten crow plenty of times on things.
Yeah, we have.
So my main thing is that like, it's just, there's not that much that's interesting in it. And really the only thing that has really kind of gripped me has actually been Morgan Wallen. With like Broadway Girls and, Wasted on You, things like that.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Like, okay. So when it comes to country, you're right. Like it's certain sounds, but I feel like it's because they have this like poppiness to them. Mm-hmm. So with Morgan Wallen and, was it Broadway Girls?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like when I was younger, it was Shania Twain's like Any Man of Mine. But again, these have this like almost like bassy pop sound kind of like vibe to them. They're not country. Mm-hmm. They're not your twangy fucking bluegrass bullshit. And the thing is like, I think that that's the big thing for me. It's the sound. Mm-hmm. I can't get behind the sound. I don't like it. It doesn't catch me. And I don't give a fuck what your cadence sounds like now. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it's okay. Well, I already listened to that. Listen to any rap song. They're saying the same shit. Mm-hmm. He's just got trap beat over him and he's talking about his bitch instead of his old lady.
Yeah.
But it's just something about it. I've tried to give it a chance. I've tried to do different styles and, over the years and stuff. To me, I think it's strictly the sound that comes with it, the countryness, if you will.
Yeah.
There's no punch in the face. There's no this. There's no hype. There's no like shit like that. Mm-hmm. So I think that that's the biggest part. Lyrically, they're great. I know that they're great lyricists.
Yeah.
So that's the problem.
Yeah. I think that even having like the stereotype of like, oh, I'm tired of hearing about my dog dying and my milk going sour and like my truck breaking down. Like,
right.
Again, but there's also this thing where, each genre of music has its stereotype where it's like we've talked about it before, like the whole rap thing where it's like build me up, look how awesome I am, I'm the best at this, I'm that. Whereas the even like making fun of my own genre where it's like with metal we're like the pain inside and like everything, like every genre has its thing. And I get that.
If I have to hear one more rapper talk about I'm in the booth spitting fire, like shut the fuck up.
It's like it's been done. You're not special. Plan B did it. But no, it's I don't know. Like the other thing that also frustrates me about country music is the fact that some of the best, if not the best, guitarists on the planet are country artists, and especially too like John Five, like he was the guitarist for Marilyn Manson for a little while, but like it's like he was a guy that started out in country roots and he applied that stuff to metal. We're like using like, chicken picking where it's like using his pick, but then using his fingers and stuff. That is a very rooted thing that you could say that is a part of country. Mm-hmm. But he took those techniques and then applied it to the music that now he is playing, which is not country.
Right.
So it's like I can appreciate it, but in the same hand is that it's just that is a genre that I've not really enjoyed. Pop music is also kind of hit and miss for me because I find myself that like there's certain pop stuff that I'll listen to that I'll really dig, but then there's other stuff that I won't. Like Taylor Swift, I do not waste my time.
Well, of course.
I legit like I that whole like look what you made me do where I'm like I don't care. Like you're responsible for your actions. Like like that's how like cynical I get. But yeah.
But see, here's the thing is that you listen to a lot more pop music than you do any country.
Sure.
So that's what I'm saying is that like we listen to next to nothing when it comes to country.
Yeah.
You just have certain styles of pop. I don't like her either, but I still like pop music.
Yeah.
So it's like that kind of falls into that like weird gray area of a category where it's like, yeah, you do enjoy this category, but like just not everybody. Mm-hmm. It's not like you like country, but you don't like Garth Brooks.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you just don't like fucking country. Right. So yeah.
Yeah, because even even with pop and stuff too, like what I loved that happened with music was the whole pop goes punk or punk goes pop or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
I know what you're talking about.
So because like that was the moment that because there's been times that I've played music and there's been like we've either like taken songs that were really big and then made them acoustic. And then you're like, wow, like, you know, the lyrics still stand true. These chord progressions still stand out. Like the way that it can be interpreted and the way that, you know, different genres apply and that they just give you a different sound that you've never heard before. Like that was such an interesting thing to me. And a lot of the bands that I grew up listening to or that I enjoyed were interpreting these pop songs differently. Like We Came as Romans did I'm Glad You Came. You know, it was a very different interpretation, you know, and it was like, wow, like, you know, this is actually heavy. Like the screamer's doing his thing. Like they're trading off like they normally do, you know, so it just, I don't know, like I try my best to not be an asshole when it comes to music because I know the time and the dedication that it takes to be able to do stuff, the studio time, if you don't have your own studio, like there's all that stuff.
Oh, but, no, I'll be an asshole.
You know, so
I don't fucking like it. Do better.
To me, it's I don't know. I have a little more grace in that only because of
I'm being funny, but I get what you mean.
But it's one of those where like I don't know, like I've tried to get into certain things before and I just can't. And country is one of those things. And I would love to be proven wrong. I want to know like what else is out there that I could genuinely enjoy that would alter my palate, because even then, like we didn't know that Blackpink was going to hit us the way that it was going to. You know, like we didn't know that that Ren. I mean, Ren is one of the best performing things on Riker Road because of how engaging he is. But we had no idea who he was. We were like, who is this Ren guy? Like, why should I even care? Right. And now we care more than anything. You know, so that's the stuff that I'm just, you know, I am hungry for. I'm hungry for, you know, other stuff, and I'm hungry to see if I can be proven wrong, because there's a part of me that loves it.
I get it, and you know, the fact of I was being funny in the fact of like just do better. Like it is all art. It is time and effort and practice, and you know, but at the same time, I am being kind of serious. No, do better then. Get people that don't like your genre to like you. And I'm sorry, the one thing that has happened a little bit, I think, over time, and it's sad to say, and people are not sad to say, but it's funny to say. That's what I meant to say. Is that country and other genres are really tapping into this rap and hip hop sound? Well, of course, because they're running out, like it all sounded the same. Yeah. They're trying to like make it sound different now because, well, it's too country, I feel like. Too country is almost like a turnoff anymore because people like me and you, where we don't like that sound. Right. And it's just like, how ironic. You're over here in the corner with the burnouts. Right. Yeah, with these big old bass hits and all this stuff. And it's just like, I don't know. It's a joke, but honestly, like, do better. Make me like it. Yeah. Have me enjoy or be like, you know what? No, I want to know more about this band or this guy or this girl. But anyways, that was my little spiel. Yeah. So what you can take away from this is that we hate country. So somebody's going to be a keyboard warrior. Yeah. Right.
However, this next question I really like. Millie Whelan. Millie Whelan wants to know, what does your perfect day sound like? What would you do and where would you go? And I don't know, like I'm a very simple person. Same. When it comes to things like, because like people that even come over and like hang out with us or whatever, where it's like, guys, like we're boring. Like we really don't do anything. You know, it's, you know, like we YouTube, we hang out, like, you know, we watch movies, we, you know, just like we talk.
Literally daily. That's all we do.
Yeah. And it's just even like when dynamic things happen, like, and I find myself, you know, going out or doing something, I'm somebody that like, I don't like to be out all night. I don't like to, you know, party until, you know, it's super late. I was never a party guy. Like I was never like, I attempted like a couple of times if I was going over to like somebody's house or whatever, but usually it was always somebody would get wasted and then, you know, somebody would start fighting and like now there's a problem, like, you know, so, but I like simplicity. So for me, it's one of those that like perfect day for me is that I know for a fact, like I'd be able to hang out with Steph. I would be able to, you know, just like, you know, start my day with her, you know, and then, you know, get up, do whatever I'm doing. Like, you know, like say maybe that's the day that it's like, oh, like maybe I'm shooting this or like, or if it's I'm not even shooting anything, like a perfect day of like having a day off. Like I want to be able to know that it's like, no, like my day is just free. You know, like anything can happen. You know, it's those are the days that I really, really enjoy, where it's like, you know, everything can kind of shut off for a while. And I literally have the freedom to be able to do whatever I want. Now, when it comes to those specific things is that, you know, like I've had days where like I've played Doom Eternal from the moment I wake up until the moment I go to bed. Or like, you know, I you know, have had times where it's like, you know, whether it's not like, you know, like just starting a fire, and just hanging out outside and just, waiting for, the stars to come out and just looking at the, the constellations and just enjoying that. Like, music is always involved too. I've got music that's either playing or I've got a podcast in the background or different things like that. Like I'm a very simple person. I'm like, no, dude, I got my girl, I got my family, I got my people, I've got my house, I've got, my ability to do what I want to do. Like that's, I don't really have like, oh, these are the 14 things I've got to do today. Right. But there's also like, there's something to be said about like, I've also had perfect days where I do nothing, but I produce music. Like that's just what I do that day where like I get to sit in front of the MIDI board and like, that's what's happening. Sure. Like I have a lot of interpretations of what a perfect day is for me. That's fair. So it's hard for me to land on one thing, but I enjoy the little things. I enjoy the simple things. And, I also enjoy moments where like, even like when mom stops down or whatever, and like she only plans on being here for 15 minutes, but then she hangs out for the day and then we end up getting dinner, and like, because it's just like, what, we're here. This is what's happening. It's just, it's all that, man. Like I love being surrounded by, the person that I love and the people that I love, and it's like that's the thing that I gravitate towards. And that's the thing that I long for, and it's, to me, that's what a perfect day would be. Mm-hmm. All that long roundabout way of saying that. But I understand it because I had this thing in my mind where it was like, the most perfect day where it's like, well, I'd go to Chicago to have a deep dish pizza and then I'd go, to France to see, the Eiffel Tower and then I'd come back. But it's like, okay, well, in 24 hours, like you can't do all that stuff. So, but realistically, it's almost the same as yours. It really is. It basically would start with the top of the line food, just whatever food, like, great food and some tattoos. Yeah. But unlimited funds to just, for me and my children to just do whatever we wanted. Oh yeah. Yeah. Whatever we wanted to do. So that's the thing, is that it's not the fact of not having a plan, but it doesn't matter. Oh, let's just stop and do this. All right, let's go over here now. Like whatever the fuck we wanted, and just not have to worry about how much it costs or how far of a drive it might be or whatever it is, or traffic. Like it would just happen. Yeah. Kind of like all the lights would be green, all of the, what I mean? Yeah. Just shit like that. So it's just one of those things where I've learned, I remember this thing that I read and I try to keep it as close to my heart as possible. And it's the fact of spend money on memories, not things. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it's the fact of, I know that could be balled up in the fact of like purchasing things for them, but it's like, no, like we have no money to worry about. Let's go do whatever we want to do and have fun and make a memory. Right. It's just like you're going to remember that, like the day that you went to Cedar Point and then got a giant stuffed bear. Plus you went and got to see a movie and then you did like, you know what I mean? Just all this shit. Yeah. It's not even about me anymore. It's about them having a good time and me being able to give that to them. Sure. I know that's every parent's dream, to like give their kids what they never had and all that shit. But no, like one cool day to just spoil the fuck out of them and like eat ice cream all day. Like, sorry, I'm not fake. I want to do that too. Right. Like, so what's that whole mentality? I think it was John Caparulo that said it, where he's like, yeah, I can't ground my kid from cartoons, where it's like, you better not watch cartoons. Now I'm going to go in here and watch SpongeBob. So it's like, right. So I'm just a big kid, so yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But that's the thing, is that having that good day is just, it's that feeling. It's just that like you feel good, so you saying the same thing where it's like, we are boring. We don't do a whole lot of stuff, but it's the fact of, it doesn't matter. Maybe that's the day that you didn't want to do anything and it makes you feel good. Yeah. It doesn't, just because you didn't go mine for gold and make $1 million or whatever it is, or find a genie in a lamp, like who cares? You got to do what you literally wanted to do. And if that was nothing, then it was fucking nothing. Right. Women can't stand that men can do nothing and be okay with it. Like literally nothing. There was a thing where some woman realized, she's like, I found out that men, when they say they're not thinking about anything, they literally mean nothing. Yeah. Nothing's happening. Facts, girls. Facts. Well, I can't remember what comedian it was, but it was somebody that Devin has showed us many times. And he said, never underestimate the ability for a man's mind to be completely vacant. Like he's, because like, I mean, it does happen. Like, but in the same hand is that like, I don't know, like I do like the moments that like I can shut off or like that, like, or like whenever those things do happen. But in the same hand is that, you know, I'm always like, whether it is YouTube or if it's, you know, the many other things that are on my mind, like there's times that, you know, like every day my thought life is different, you know, and it's, you know, there are good days, there are bad days, but, you know, in the same hand is that like, even in the most busy of days, I've still had some of the best mental days, you know, just because like that, I think it was something that RDJ said where, you know, he was talking about, you know, a football star where it's like, you know, how was your day? He's like, oh, I was completely out of my mind. I was completely just, you know, I was not present. I was just engaged. I was just doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
Like this was the best day ever, you know, and it's like, I think that it's like when you're able to, I'm careful on how I say this, when you're able to be on autopilot, you know, where it's like you're not missing what's happening, but there's not a thought process that has to go into the action that's being done.
Yeah.
You know, and those are the days that I definitely enjoy a lot, man. Like they're,
you know when I get
really
to
good.
Do you know when I get to do those? When I have Chandler and I go to Meg's.
Oh, really?
Because guys, I almost completely shut off from social media in a sense. Like I don't edit, I don't upload, I don't get on Riker Road Instagram half the time. Like I don't do anything with YouTube when I am basically not here anymore. When I am with Meg and when I am with Chandler, all of my stuff is almost all done or all done.
Yeah.
And for those 5 days when I have her and I get to go, I don't do dick about fuck half the time on my social platforms.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to. I've done my work.
Yeah. It'll be there when you come back.
It'll be there when I come back and when my daughter is not wanting to be around me.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend and my 2 stepkids. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know, my son is 18 years old. He's doing his own thing. Like,
right.
You know, so it's just the fact of when I can do that, you're right. It's almost like autopilot. Everything is just in working order for my channel. Everything that we've needed to do is done. We don't have to record. I don't have to do a remember and write all these things. Like it's all of this stuff that doesn't happen.
Right.
And I'm just like, fucking, so I can just like mop the floor and then like have dinner and like, you know, go mow the yard. That's shit like that.
That's exactly how you know that you're an adult, when you've cleaned the bathroom and it excites you.
You know?
Right. Yeah. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like that. You do it here. I do it over there, where it's like, that's the thing is that we both, and it's weird that we both have our routines like that, but no, it is, you're right. It's almost like this autopilot, but you are present.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I fortunately do get to do that a lot. So I don't take that for granted, and I try not to.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we'll do this. I'm going to just pick one more. We are kind of reaching the hour mark. But Austin wants to know, what's your favorite conspiracy theory, even if you don't believe it? So I got to hear yours. So I know that this is a slippery slope into a lot of crazy shit, but
I'm going to look crazy as fuck in about 5 minutes.
Bro, there's something about the moon landing that just like people that get so aggressive with it, where like, I kind of almost feel like the evolutionist that's sitting back watching Christians and Jews fight about who's the Messiah. And I'm just like, do it. Just go ahead. Talk about it, please. I want to see everything, you know, but no, it's, I don't know, like I've kind of toyed with it because, you know, obviously, like, you know, I've built the entire podcast off of like what Joe Rogan does, and I've followed his formula and tried to apply my own thing to it. But like, you know, he's discussed the moon landing before, and like, you know, his thoughts on it has changed, and I can't remember exactly where he ended up. But in the same hand is that I've been kind of somebody that has leaned more towards like, I could believe that the footage is faked, but I do believe that we went to the moon.
100%.
So it's like that type
100%,
of thing. Because there's a lot of details and things that, you know, that I've seen, or that, you know, whether or not it's like in YouTube shorts where like, or like if you're watching a full episode of something where you're like, that's kind of weird. You know, it's like, why did it happen that way? Like, why is the flag behaving this way? Or like, you know, the way that the stars are looking, and like the way, like, it just, again, like you can nitpick anything, but I don't know, like that's the one thing that like, it just kind of like eats at me, where I'm like, I just don't know what I think. I
think you're right, man. And I've thought that for years. That was not real. I don't give a fuck what people say. We did not go to the moon when we said we did. I believe we have gone to the moon and that we have been into outer space and all these things. Yes, I do believe that.
Yeah.
Nope, not this is the first step for nah, fuck off. No, it wasn't. That was on a sound stage in California.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Don't tell me otherwise, because that's what the fuck it is.
Because wasn't there even I don't even know what the name of the movie is, but it's a movie actually with O.J. Simpson. Like when he was still acting, but it was when I think he was portraying an astronaut, and they were supposed to go to Mars. And they pulled them off of the ship at the last second. They're like, no, come on, get out of here. And they launched the rocket. And they're like, here's the soundstage. This is what you're going to do. And I think even one of the things that he said when he walked, like his character walked, and he's like, I'm going to throw up, dude. He's like, are you kidding me? He's like, this is what's happening. So it's like, it's funny how like even an older movie was kind of like taking the piss out of that, or was like kind of like,
because they knew it was real and they were putting it in front of your face the whole fucking time.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know, that one gets to me. And especially too, like, bro, like there is a part of me that has a deep love for flat earthers. Like, dude, like, because it's just like, because I'm assuming that if anybody has been on TikTok or has scrolled any YouTube shorts, they've seen it where they're trying to prove that there's no curvature to the earth, and a flat earther does an experiment that proves that the earth is curved and he doesn't know what to do. So it's like, it just, because I don't know, like, again, like I try not to shit on people, but in the same hand where I'm like, the whole space is fake thing, or like,
shit on people, dude.
It's just, I don't know, like there's just a part of me where I'm like, oh God, like, just please explain to me. Like, it's because I think it was even our buddy Dan. He said that he was, I can't remember what he was doing, but he was with a group of people where essentially the guy was teaching how to do a budget. And he said, yeah, he's like, you take the amount of months for the year for the salary that you have, you do your budget, you take for 12 months of the year, you divide by this much, and you go like, do this, and this. And somebody in the class went, that's wrong. And he went, what do you mean? And I think they said there are 10 months in a year.
Oh my God.
And I think that was the moment that I think Dan said something to the effect of, one of his friends was like, no, let them speak. Just let them do it. So I don't know. Just, it's because again, like I would look, there's crazier things that have happened. There's things that have been revealed, like the fact that aliens are real, where it's like, they just gave us that information, so, but in the same hand is that if there was ever a day that the earth did like, eventually like we found out that it was flat, there is a part of me that would be like,
right.
I guess so. Sure. It's like it doesn't,
give them one.
It does not affect me whatsoever. I still have to go to work. I still have to do these things, so I don't know. It just, those are, I guess you could say, my few, but yeah. So yeah.
Mine is, I actually do believe these, and y'all can come for me in the comments for the second one, but I don't give a fuck. The Mandela effect is the first one.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't give a shit what any of you say. You know what the other one I found out recently? I Love Lucy. Lucy, you got some splaining to do. He never says it.
What does he say?
Nothing. He just doesn't say it. The fuck he didn't.
You got some. There was never a time that he ever said you got some splaining to do. Nothing.
Nope. Apparently that's the new thing. Well, one of them, or kind of new. Yeah. He never says it. Not once.
Go on.
But no, the Mandela effect is something that I truly do believe. I do think that there are some things that maybe have been like misinterpreted over the years. And one of them is the Luke, I am your father. I can understand. I guess that doesn't argue my point very well with Lucy, you got some explaining to do. But I was going to say like maybe like some words or like how it was said.
Yeah, because all he said was, no, I am your father.
But that's what I'm saying is that it's at least still the same kind of concept. You got some explaining to do, or Lucy, you got some explaining. No, he never says it. Like not even anything close to it. Like doesn't say it at all. So that's where I'm like, nah, fuck you.
Right.
But so the Mandela effect definitely is one for me. And the other one is Pizzagate.
Oh, for sure.
And the frazzle drip thing, man. Like, I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, y'all can come for me in the comments. Look, I saw it and I didn't know what I was seeing. And it was before any of this came out. I was with an ex and I remember what the fuck I was doing. I was standing in the driveway. She was sitting 9 feet away from me, and she said, "Oh my God."
Mm-hmm.
And then she spouted off a few things, and I said, "Bullshit."
Right.
And she flipped her phone around, and I'll be goddamned if I didn't see what I saw. And I went, "No, that's not real."
Yeah. And
fast forward 3
Yeah.
years, all this shit comes out. So I'm not going to keep saying the words, but like, that is one that you cannot tell me it is not real. I will go to my grave thinking that and knowing that that is real, and the things that are all associated with it.
Yeah.
That have, that even a former president tried to, clear the swamps and do things like hate that person all you want. I loved him for that. That was a big thing that I was like, bro, just do it. Come on, man. Please have these fucking brass balls and do it.
Yeah.
And it just, they couldn't, man. Like,
Well,
it's too powerful.
Well, the thing is too, is that, because this is where, I mean, we've briefly discussed some things. Like we talked about like stuff that scares us, and we talked about the government, which is kind of like a ha-ha thing,
But it's real.
But in the same hand is that, look, I 110% agree with you. And there's been times you and I have talked it to death, and we've, discussed different things, and we've even taken it, further into like the iceberg of like what it could mean, or like, all these different things. But I'm a firm believer of the fact that there are corrupt people. And there are corrupt people that have power and that have money.
Yep.
And it's just, we've already seen what truly evil people can do. And it's one of those that, to say that it's like, there are these horrible things in the world. It's like, we know that there's, terrible things that are being done to children, across the world or whatever that happen, like, for like, just on a normal basis without these conspiracy theories. But these aren't real. And that's the part that frustrates me, where it's like, does it mean it's real? No, but it also doesn't speak a lot for itself to say that it's not.
Right.
And it's, so I don't know, like, again, like there's no way to be able to, truly prove it, because even the times that I've tried to look for things and stuff, things have been wiped away. There's like stuff that you can't find anymore, so.
And it makes me think like, okay, well, you're wiping it away because it's real. Like I fell down a really deep rabbit hole for a while, and when X was still Twitter, that's where I found a lot of my stuff. And no, I did not go on like the dark web or any. I don't have I don't have access like that or know how to do that. So people, you can argue in the comments and be like, well, then you didn't really see. No. I'm telling you right now. After I saw the real video, there were things, because I personally chose to look into, there were things that I could not unsee and forget about.
Yeah.
Whether it be children or adults, it didn't matter. There were things that I saw that I could not get out of my mind. I know that's my fault, but at the same time, it's the fact of I was almost like trying to get information and understand what is going on and if this is real. And what I found I didn't like, because it was. Yeah. That's the hard truth about it, is that it's almost that whole thing. Like, you keep digging long enough, you're going to find something.
Right.
So,
yeah. And there's even been some things that I have found on my own that have not been, those specific things, but have been, whether it's, the island thing, or like, things like that, where it's like, I don't know, like, to me, I think it's, I'm careful on how I say that, but like my first knee jerk reaction is to say, I think it's ignorant to assume that the people in power don't have any kind of like corruptness to them, that they would not indulge in things like, and this is the thing too, is that like, especially when money is given to you and you're bribed with all these things. And like we've talked about it in another episode, where it's like, sign on the dotted line here. Like it's been in the music industry, it's in the film industry. Like this is something that's been there for years. And like, whether or not it is that specific thing, there is an evil side to that completely consumes your life, that, will make you a slave to what they want.
Do you know, so it's the newest thing I heard, I guess I'll wrap this up with this, but, there's a guy on TikTok, and I don't really care for him. He seems very pompous and just, I don't know, like, it just hard to explain. If you guys know who I'm talking about, he's got tattoos on his face. He's this like white guy. I think he's got like red hair, and he claims to be like pretty much really high up in like the Illuminati and the Masons and stuff. He's probably like in his 30s. And every once in a while I will like come across these things and he'll talk about like people that he knows, like what they did, like the Island Boys and like how they got their fame or like whatever it is. And then he said something the other day about the golden juice.
Oh yeah, I have heard about that. Yeah.
Now, never heard of that before until 4 days ago, right? Mm-hmm. And then what's her face
from the Orange is the New Black? Yeah, I saw her TikTok the other day too. Yeah,
when she was talking on that podcast, and
it was Whitney Cummings, right?
Yes,
yeah.
And she was like, I've been offered it like 4 different times, and of course, now I'm not saying that she isn't like off her rocker, but like funny. She's crazy and all of this stuff. But it's the fact of her even saying, she's like, I was offered it. And one of them time was on Orange is the New Black. And she's like, and I know the people that did it and how their lives change and their attitudes and all of this stuff. Like, bro, that's fucking scary. I don't give a they even asked her, like, was it pee? And she's like, I don't know. Like, I really do not know because I always turned it down.
Yeah.
It scared her because she understood like the things that came with it. You know, for her to have been offered it that many times, it's like she is this bigger name, but it's weird that like she was very sporadically put in Hollywood in these bigger roles. And then every time it seems like she was offered it afterwards there and she's like, no.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would I do what? No. And then now look what's happening. Again, maybe she is just completely off her rocker, but it's a little ironic.
Yeah.
That's the second time I've heard that in like 4 days. So guys, these conspiracy theories, I don't know, man. I think they might be truths.
Yeah. Well, so, again, like it's, you know, because I can't remember what comedian said it, but he was just like, he's like, I have kids. And he's like, to keep order, I lie to those guys all the time, you know, and he's like, if I'm willing to lie to my children in my own home, then what is being done on a bigger level.
Correct.
You know, and again, like again, it doesn't always have to be the intensity of, you know, like what's going on with these conspiracies and everything. But it's like we've said before, there is a narrative and there's something that people like, you know, they want to keep pushing forward. They want us to keep fighting. They want us to keep, you know, like keep doing the things that we're doing. And again, like that's, I don't know, to me, it's just, I do my best to kind of like compartmentalize conspiracy theories and the fact that it's like, I'm not the type of person that, you know, it's like I'm spouting it off all the time or that, you know, I'm like, oh, like, it's like, you know, I lose respect for people of like this and this, like, you know, even like when it comes to somebody like Kevin Spacey, where it's like, I cannot stand that guy, like just because of the things that, you know, if even 2% of what I've heard is true.
Right.
You know, I don't, but in the same hand is that, you know, it's like, he is a great musician. He is a great actor, but it's like, you know, so it's just unfortunate.
Right.
So it's like, but again, like I know that.
Same with Tom Hanks, where it's like, I know that motherfucker's sleazy as fuck anymore, but like, I'm sorry, like I still watch all the old movies.
Right. It's like Castaway is a great movie. Forrest Gump is a great movie. Like it's because again, like I know that for me personally, it's just like when we were talking about Jeepers Creepers, where it's like, look, dude, I'm able to separate the art from the artist.
Correct.
You know, and also like doing it in a way, like for instance, like when Jeepers Creepers 3 came out, I waited till it was on Netflix and, you know, opening up the door using an account that was not my own. So it's like, so, you know, the idea where it's like, you know, I wasn't even giving him the money to be able to like to do that. So and plus it bombed anyway, so it didn't matter. But, you know, it's just that's the stuff where it's like, nah, man, like there are very true and corrupt people that are alive in this world. And it's like, you know, I look at just, you know, the fact that it's like, nah, man, like there are very evil people that exist and sometimes they are in leadership. And the sad part is that it isn't everybody. And that's the part that is really frustrating, you know, because it's like, well, who do you trust? Like, you know, how do you do this? You know,
exactly.
So that's why it's one of those where it's like, I kind of just stay at home and I just do my thing, you know? So like, you know, so
that's why we're YouTubers.
That's right. So, you know, so I try my best just to, you know, just focus on what I'm doing. And when conversations like these pop up, I do talk about it, you know, and it's like, because I've even had like certain friends before where I've been shocked where I'm like, oh, like, I didn't know you knew what that was. Like, interesting.
Same.
You know, so it's just, conspiracies they're a fun, you know, thing to kind of dive into just because like you can get into like even like the lizard people, you know, where it's like, you know, is that a lizard person? You know, like I've seen Justin Bieber before, like when he was on camera and like his eyes changed and you're
Beyonce and all that. Yeah.
You're like, what happened? Like, what was that? Was that a glitch? If so, it was the same glitch in the same four people, you know, so, but, so
exactly. Like, how much of this is real, but
But nevertheless, you said you had a third one?
No.
Was that the last one?
I said the second one. They'll probably come.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you had a third one, so I didn't want to cut you off. So, but nevertheless, this has been a very interesting episode. Just all around, I know we've been covering a lot of very real life stuff, and then being able to just dive in and talk about some crazy things as well too. But either way, I think we've been talking long enough. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this up here. So guys, if you have enjoyed what you've been watching and if you want to see more, make sure you hit the like button and you also subscribe and also share and comment on this video. It helps us out a lot. You can also check us out on Spotify and pretty much, any, main podcast area, that you can find us on there if you want to keep listening. So as always, Eric, is there anything that you would like to tell them before we jump off here until next week?
I have to race like a piss horse. See you next time.
And Heidi would be proud. We'll see you guys next week.
See if they catch that.
Adios.